In this video, we're going to be installing a C compiler on Windows, Mac, and Linux. This will allow you to turn C code into a program that you can then run. There are timestamps in the description below, so you can skip to the Windows, Mac, or Linux part. To test that C works, I'll be using VS Code to create a simple application on each one of those platforms, and the link for that will be in the description below as well. Let's get started. The thing to understand about C is that there's actually many different C compilers. One of the very prominent ones on Windows is the MinGW compiler, which is basically a port of GCC. I'll link this download in the description below. We'll go ahead and download it, and there we go. So what this is the installer for the installer. So let's come in here, we'll hit install. Yes, and there we go, it'll start installing. Excellent. Go ahead and just hit continue. So you should be presented with this screen. And basically you can choose the languages and tools that you need. The way that this works is when you click on one of these checkboxes, then you have to click mark for installation and then give it a second to load. That'll also check the base too as well. We'll come in here, we'll check this one, the MinGW base. And then you have actually a couple options of other languages, Ada, Fortran, and Objective-C. If you want to play around with those, you can. I'm going to do the G++ one for C++ development. In the wild, you will likely see a lot of projects that have C and C++ also have little snippets of Objective-C as well. And that's to generally support Apple platforms. Though the thing is, we're probably not going to have to be compiling Objective-C on Windows, so I'm just going to leave it for now. But I mean, feel free, you can do all of these if you want. Next, I'm going to come up here and we'll go to installation and we'll go to apply changes. And then we'll just hit apply and it'll start installing everything. Okay, and there it is. It'll say you may now close this dialog and we'll hit close. It's not too obvious when it stops, but yeah, we'll close this one. One more step, we need to actually bind the path to MinGW so that we can use these tools. On your C drive, one of the folders was MinGW, and then in this bin folder, here are all the compilers and tools. They're actual little programs. And in order to make your terminal be able to see these programs, we have to bind it to the path. So let's come over here and you can click on the start menu or the search thing down at the bottom. We'll go ahead and we'll type in environment down here, and then it should say edit the system environment variables or something equivalent on other versions of Windows. Taking a closer look at the screen, let's go ahead and click environment variables. And it should bring up this screen. You can actually edit either the user or the system. I'm just going to edit the user. This will just apply to my user. Go ahead and press new. Just make sure you get the spelling of this correct. So capital C colon backslash above the enter key on your keyboard, capital MIN, capital G, capital W, and then we'll do bin, so backslash bin. And then hit OK, and hit OK, and hit OK. So I have VS Code open. I'm just going to go up to File, Open Folder. I'll find a place for it. Maybe we'll go to Documents. Maybe I'll create a new folder called, C or something along those lines. And then I'll click, we'll do another one called First. Make sure you click it, then hit Select Folder. And there we go. It's opened to a new project. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to create a new file, and we'll name it main.c. Doesn't have to be main. You can name it whatever you want. Yes, I trust myself. Let's create a basic C program. All this is going to do is print hello world. And then jump in the terminal. You might have these up at the top if it's too small. Okay, so it's open to terminal here. I'm going to type gcc space and then the name of the program, which is main.c. Perfect. And then you might notice it created this a.exe. That's your program. We can come in here, we can type // and then a.exe and hit enter, and there you go. Congratulations, you have compiled a C program and run it on Windows. If you run into issues, please leave a comment below. On a Mac, go ahead and type the following: Xcode select install. This window will come up. Go ahead and hit install. It'll give you a license agreement, and then yeah, it'll take probably a little bit to install. If you already have Xcode installed as an app, then you will already have this. In experience, this timer will sometimes say, oh, it's going to take 15 hours or something. Generally, in practice, it doesn't take that. On my machine, for example, it's taking about 40 seconds to install. It'll say the software installed. Go ahead and hit OK. Let's go ahead and open up VS Code, and I'm going to go do open folder. And just find a place for it. You could put it in your documents or whichever. Let's create a new folder, and we'll say first. Yeah, I'll hit open. And then we'll come in here and we'll do main.c. Go ahead and write a basic C program that we can use to test it. Okay, we'll jump up here to the terminal. We'll do new terminal. And then what we can do is we can say gcc space, and then the name of our program, main.c. Linux and Mac, it's going to be the same. It's going to create this a.out. We'll come in here, we'll run it /, and then the name of the program, a.out, and hit enter, and there we go. Just for your information, Xcode Select Tools actually installs Clang as well, which is another C compiler. We can run exactly the same thing. It also compiled our program as well. Now, just for your information on a Mac, take a really close look at this. Watch this. I'm going to type GCC and hit enter. GCC on a Mac is really Clang. Just be aware of that. You're actually using Clang as your compiler, but GCC is more of just like an alias on Mac for Clang. On a Ubuntu or Debian-based machine, go ahead and update your repositories. It'll ask you for a password. As you're typing in this password, nothing will show up. Next, we're going to install two packages. Build Essential, this is the actual compiler, and then this man pages dev is just a bunch of man pages for those compilers and tools. Very useful. I recommend installing both of those. Either which way, I already have them installed, so yeah, that's why it did that on my machine. But you'll see that it'll upgrade. When it says yes, go ahead and press Y and then hit enter. To verify that it worked, go ahead and just type the following gcc space and then -sign version. And there we go. And you should have a version number come back. If it says no command found gcc, something like that, then unfortunately it didn't work. If you run into any issues with the process, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'm going to test that it worked in VS Code. I'll come in here and we'll create a main.c file. I'll come in and I'll just create a very basic C program to test it. Go ahead and jump up to the terminal. We'll do new terminal, GCC, and then we'll do main.c. So GCC and then the name of your source file. Hit enter. If nothing happens, that means it was successful. By default, it's going to name it a.out. This is a binary file. I mean, you can look at it if you want. Text editor, yeah, it'll show you a bunch of stuff in here. It's kind of interesting. The name of my the compiler and then the distribution I'm using is here. Anyway, we'll close that. And yeah, to run it, // and then the name of the program, a.out. And there we go. Also, a quick Google search. There's all these different online editors for C. Maybe I'll pick this one for right here or something. If you're just doing a simple little C program and it's like a single file, a lot of these online editors are really good for just practicing, especially if you're on a device that cannot have a C compiler, such as various different tablets are like that. Go ahead and run it. Might take a second to load. Let's put a printf here. Let's do hello world, and then we'll run it again. Yeah, there it is, and it printed hello world. If you're just learning C and you don't necessarily have a compiler or you run into issues, these are great for just getting started and trying things and learning. They're awesome. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.